Hello, AJ.
Morning, Frank.
Morning. Well, listen, it could be any time of the day because nobody would know when we're recording this.
Well, exactly. It's all a mystery surrounded in an illusion, wrapped in an enigma.
Yeah, sometimes wonder whether I'm an illusion myself. But listen, what have you been doing over the weekend or the last week?
Let me see. So it was the bank holiday, wasn't it? So Friday I did a half day at work and then went and spent Friday evening at a festival, just a little small one that was quite nice. Then Saturday it was the Skem game, and then Sunday I went for a run, cleaned the house, and then watched the football. And then Monday I just sat in my garden. So
Well, it was nice enough to sit in the garden, wasn't it?
Certainly was.
I didn't. I went out to Southport, and I don't normally do that. Were we talking about Monday or Sunday yet? We're talking about Monday now.
Well, I mean, it depends how far along you've got.
I forgot what we got to. Anyway, listen, Bank Holiday Monday. I went to Southport with my daughter, Elliot, and the grandchildren. Mm-hmm. So spent a lovely time there. Went to have a bite to eat in the Mamma Mia pizza Italian place on Lord Street. So I had a nice bite to eat there. It was quite pleasant.
Good, yeah.
But the problem was, part of the boating lake was cordoned off because there was a bloke, I believe, had been found unresponsive, either in the lake or outside the lake, and was a helicopter was scrambled over. It was all cordoned off by police tape. Couldn't find out what was happening. Tried to go over there and do me
investigative journalism.
Yeah, it didn't work at all. I got this Bobby, what do you call them? Community Bobby.
PCSOs.
Yeah, PCS.
PCSOs.
A PCSO. Well, I could call them something else.
Now.
Don't they think they own the place?
They are doing their job.
Oh, crikey, he was a bit of a job's worth, this bloke. Anyway, he didn't want to give anything away at all. But yeah, I thought, little bit annoying really when they won't give you the gossip, but yeah. So that's what happened on the bank holiday Monday. And like I said, don't normally get a bank holiday Monday to myself because in the past few years, like you're normally involved with football somewhere along the line, aren't you?
Certainly are. Yeah.
And the only change is this year, obviously this season, the North West Counties Division 1. North and South have had no games on the bank holiday for a change.
No, that's a new one.
Yeah, because last year I can't remember who we played now.
On the August bank holiday? Was I? I was here.
Was it Daisy Hill? No.
I think it was McGull.
It could have been McGull, couldn't it? We got battered out of the way, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
We don't want to talk about that, though, do we? No. So, what have you been watching? Well, I'll tell you what I've been watching first of all. Have you heard of The Hostage?
That's the one with the Prime Minister's husband, isn't it?
The Prime Minister, he becomes a hostage. A little bit far-fetched, but we managed to watch the whole thing all in one night. Mm-hmm. Not a bad series, really. Mm-hmm. Saran Jones is the main actress in it, former Coronation Street star. I know an awful lot about Coronation Street in Emmerdale, as you
certainly do. Yes,
we're learning bit by bit. What have you been watching?
Oh God, I'm not even sure I've been watching anything particularly, to be honest. I'll tell you what I did watch. It was a short drama, just over 2 episodes, called The Moorlands, and it was made in about 2015, 2016.
I think I watched it.
Like that. Yeah, it was about the disappearance of Shannon Matthews from the council estate in Batley, Dewsbury, somewhere like that, in West Yorkshire. Anyway, and like the kind of the surrounding events after it that happened. Crazy. And
the actress in that, remind me?
Sheridan Smith. She's
in a new drama now, isn't she? I don't know what it's called. It's about to come out. I have to take note of that. Everything she's in tends to be good.
It does these days. Yeah, absolutely.
Actress.
I went to the same school as Sheridan Smith did. We had the same drama teacher, and my dad starred with her in a production of Annie when she was quite young.
Oh, right.
Yeah. She was,
tell me more.
Well, she was Annie. He was Daddy Warbucks. They both come from like the sort of the same area, so it would make sense. But that was how they ended up meeting, although very short, and I don't think either of them would remember the other. If they were to ever sort of see each other again. But then,
So how long was father a thespian for?
Father was a thespian for a while, as well as being a teacher. This must have been like the early 90s, maybe the late 80s, something along those lines. But no, that was when Sheridan was really young, like even before she'd done Gavin and Stacey and all of that carry on 20 years ago. So that was where she made her.
Well, she seems to have been on our telly for years, doesn't she? Donkey's years now.
And the rest, you sort of go through all everything that she's been in, and it accounts for a lot of years on telly, especially ITV.
And how's your training for the Ironman?
Not so bad. So I did a mile in the swimming pool this morning. I did 14 miles on the bike yesterday, but on a sort of a more hillier resistance, and then I did 11 miles run on Sunday. So it's starting to come together a little bit more.
So do you stagger the training? Like you say, you've done a swim, you've done a bike ride, and you've done do you do that all in one day, or are you just separate at the moment?
Separate. I don't have the time or energy to split my training into 2 sessions in one day. Between the football and Brodie, I just don't have time. I just keep it to 1 session per day at the minute, and I would hope that's enough to kind of see me over the finish line.
Confidence.
Confidence, God. Yeah. It's all evaporating. The thing is, I think you probably come to realise that in these kind of situations, being ready is a decision, not a feeling.
Yeah, as often is, yeah.
Yeah, quite.
So how long does it take you to swim a mile in the swimming baths? I'm assuming it's only, is it 25 yards?
It's 25 metres, yeah.
I'm old school yards.
Let me see. I would think it takes me about maybe just shy of an hour, I think, to do 1 mile. So that's 1,600 metres. Yeah. I think it'll take me just under an hour to do that. So 2 miles in the sea, I would hope would take under 2 hours.
And do you get your own lane in the swimming baths?
I wish I got my own lane. I have to share it with the plebs.
Can you say that?
The swimmers, no.
So you end up having to go probably further than you really want to.
Well, I tend to go in the faster lane. So it's usually for the people who are sort of triathletes, or hobbyist triathletes in their own right. So I'll swim alongside them and I'll pull over and stop where I need to. As long as nobody's swimming breaststroke in the fast lane, that's absolutely fine. It's the equivalent of driving 60 in the middle lane.
Is that what you're going to swim breaststroke through the 2 miles? Or are you going to do?
No, I'm swimming. I've got to swim front crawl, otherwise
you've got to do it.
I've got to do it, otherwise I'll never finish it. In the Ironman, there are actually cut-off times for the swimming and the biking, so you have to make the transition point between the disciplines.
So the 2 miles. It's a 2 mile swim.
Yeah.
So how long has that got to take you?
I think it's 3 hours.
3 hours. Mm-hmm. So you're well under that by the sounds
I would hope so.
Although you'll tire when you're doing the second mile. So
yeah, exactly. And it's in the sea as well, so it's even more tough. You've just got to hope for a flat tide, really, just so that you can sort of swim in it quite easily. And then the cycle, I think it's 7 hours after, so about 10 hours in total. I've got to do the swim and the bike.
How many miles is the cycle?
112.
112, and you've got to do that in 7 hours.
Yes.
Right. So the run is it's
a marathon distance. Yeah.
And what have you got to do?
You can just take your time on that one because you finish afterwards. So
you will definitely finish.
If I get to the...
You'll stop somewhere along the line. Either at the end, middle, or the beginning.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But there are plenty of rest stops along the way. So as long as I don't faff and be reasonably time.
So when you say rest stops, are they a caravan and a sleep?
No, God, they are.
I think I'd need one.
Take a couple of bottles of water, some gel, and a massive bucket of Doritos, and be on your way. That's it.
I don't want to ask what the gel's for, but I would imagine you'd be very, very sore at that stage.
I would have thought so. I would hope if I can keep it together by the time I get onto the bike, then I'll have done all right. The run afterwards, I know I'll be walking a little bit of it, but as long as I finish, that's all I want to do is just finish. Just finish.
Well, keep us posted on next week's show, but I think we better get on with this week's show first of all.
Yeah, we absolutely had.
Hello and welcome to the Speaking Frankly Football Show. I'm Frank Hughes, the chairman of Skelmersdale United Football Club, and alongside me is my co-host and passionate press officer, AJ the Jet. Not that being involved with the football club is a prerequisite for hosting a football podcast, but it certainly helps. We are ready to dive headfirst into the vibrant world of non-league football in the North West, and we might even take a moment to discuss some of the bigger headlines in the sport. We'll explore life in the North West counties, bring you interviews with well-known faces in the league, and analyse how local teams are performing while making bold predictions for their upcoming matches. Nothing is off the limits here. We'll be diving into all kinds of topics, including complicated refereeing decisions and regulations that often leave fans perplexed. We want to hear from you too. This is your show, so don't hesitate to reach out with topics you want us to tackle. Let's get this conversation started and enjoy every single moment. We are speaking frankly. Hello and welcome to the 8th episode of the second series of the Speaking Frankly Football Show, and an even warmer welcome to the dulcet tones of my co-host, AJ.
Afternoon, Frank. Afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much for tuning in yet again to another episode of the second most listened to footballing podcast in the Northwest. We're going to blow that trumpet for as long as we can. So coming up on today's show, we're going to check in on the Premier League and all the big transfers that are happening or not happening in the case of Newcastle. First, we're going to check in on Everton, Frank's team. We're going to check in on Morecambe. And then we're going to go a little bit more local with Marine Southport, the Northern Premier League, and then we're going to go in on Skelmersdale United, as we often do, and then we're going to look in on the results and the fixtures from the Northwest counties. Franklin.
Well, it's all about top stories. I mean, I don't know whether it is a top story or not these days, because nothing seems to faze anyone, but read an article that suggested that the Premier League's new 2.5 billion transfer window is a spending record. I don't know whether you heard the same yourself.
Yes, I had. Yeah, I think it came after was it Everton signing Tyler Dibling for 40 million that pushed it over the mark?
Is that how much they've spent on him?
About 42 million, yeah.
Yeah, that's coming in stages, is it, I think?
I would think so.
I don't know a great deal about him, do you?
Played for Southampton.
He's a winger, I know that much.
Winger.
Any good?
Not bad. Raw talent. Probably would look better in a better team than Southampton, unfortunately. They were just... the whipping boys last season, so I don't think it made much difference. But no, he's got bags of potential. He's only a kid as well, maybe 18, something like that. So
I just think there's a few too many players like that we bring into Everton right at the moment. Apart from Grealish, the other one, of course, is Barry. That's looked a little bit ordinary on Monday, but listen, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Now, listen, I've mentioned the vulgarity of it all many times on the show, but I've also mentioned how captivating it is as well. But one of the biggest sort of transfer conversations at the moment is Alexander Isak, which seems to remain on a knife edge, although I do believe that Liverpool have made I don't know whether they've made their second... Is it the second bid? I think the original one was £110 million.
They go to 115. I think.
Have they gone up as far as 115?
I think they may have gone as far as that.
Now, Newcastle seem to be determined to hold onto a higher fee. They're looking for around about £150 million. Is he worth it?
I don't think any player's worth 150 million, to be honest. Not even with the inflation that's been going on for years and years. I mean, I remember when I think I was most surprised about 3 or 4 years ago when Enzo Fernandez went to Chelsea, and he was the first £100 million plus player that went to the Premier League, and I just thought that was monstrous. Alexander Isak has had one good season with Newcastle, one very good season, but we've had this before. Remember, Marcus Rashford had an amazing season in 2023, never hit even close to those heights, or that fella Michu, who played for Swansea back in sort of the 2010s, had one really good season with them and then was never really seen or heard from again.
So you've got to really be very careful what you wish for. But my question is, are Newcastle determined to keep hold of him, or are they just trying to up the price?
I think at this stage they're just trying to up the price. I think Isak is burning his bridges as much as he can with Newcastle at the minute. He's going on about broken promises, and he's going on social media to proclaim this. So
to all intents and purposes, now he's actually on strike.
I think so. I think that's probably the correct way to put it. Yeah, I don't think he'll play for Newcastle again.
No,
that's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all very bizarre and very frustrating if you're a Newcastle supporter, because they've got to replace him, and the transfer window shuts on the 1st of September at 7
That's
o'clock.
Monday.
Yeah, 7 o'clock. It's normally,
I
thought it was 11 o'clock of a night.
It used to be 11 o'clock, but I think because they've had an extended transfer window through the Club World Cup, pre-Club World Cup, I think that means it can shut a little bit early. But nonetheless, Jim White and his yellow tie will be on Sky Sports News to cover it all, I should think. Yeah. Iconic as they are together.
Yeah, listen, it's a fascinating show, and it does come to the nitty-gritty. But listen, with the transfer window ticking down, keeping a potentially unhappy striker may disrupt the squad. So what do you recommend Newcastle do now? Because they've got the next few days to make a decision. They can't hold on and keep hold of him, because he's at some stage he's got to play, because I would imagine he's in default of his contract and they could stop payments altogether. How does it work? My question is now, do football clubs have too much hold over the footballers? Or is it work both ways?
I think it probably works both ways, really. I think if you look at an agent such as Mino Raiola, who had players like Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Paul Pogba, Erling Haaland, Gianluigi Donnarumma, these enormous players who would command outrageous transfer fees and then even bigger wages, plus agents' fees on top of that as well, milking clubs for so much of what they're worth in order to get players in through the door. And I think we're probably seeing that a little bit, with those players that I mentioned, where they hold the clubs to ransom for higher wages. I think what Newcastle are doing is a bit of a show of force against Alexander Isak and his current rebellion against Newcastle. What I would say at this point for Newcastle to do is try and come to some arrangement with Liverpool, because the longer they hold on to him and the less he isn't playing, the less he's going to be worth at this point. If you keep the striker in the under-21s or the reserves for as long as half a season, that can seriously affect his ability and also his worth. So it's probably worth coming to an arrangement with Liverpool sooner rather than later to get him out the door.
So he's going, isn't he? He's got to go.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt about it that he's got to go. And I don't think it's necessarily in Newcastle's best interests to let him rot in the reserves for the remainder of his contract and then let him go on a free. They paid 60 million for him 2 years ago. And I think, even though they're owned by the Public Investment Fund of Saudi Arabia, they would still want a return on their money.
Mm. And he is set to play his first game of the season, believe it or not, because he's been named in the Sweden squad ahead of the World Cup qualifiers against Slovenia and Kosovo.
Yeah.
Both fixtures will take place at the end of next week. So that'll be an interesting one. He's scored 16 goals in 52 international caps. So one way or another, he's going to be playing sooner.
Still going to be playing football,
rather than later.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we could probably all see that coming. To be honest, I think he's still the Sweden star in his own right. You know, in amongst a team including Victor Gyökeres from Arsenal. I think he's got to keep up his pedigree in his football as much as he can to ensure that he still stays in the team ahead of the qualifiers and then next year's World Cup. So
listen, it's all very toxic, and if he does stay, it's not going to be great for anyone, is it? It's not going to be great for the supporters. It's not going to be good for him. No. It's not really going to be good for football either, is it?
It's not going to be good for football, but I suppose Newcastle are trying to make the point that a player who wants away doesn't necessarily get what he wants by holding the club to ransom the way that he has done.
It all depends on now whether Liverpool are willing to pay more than they want to pay.
Or if Newcastle are willing to drop their asking price for him.
Yeah. Listen, one way or another, we will find out within the next few days.
Certainly will.
What's going to happen there. So listen, let's move on to Everton.
Yeah.
My sort of number 2 team. They managed to win their game on Monday night against Brighton. I don't think they played particularly well at times. I think Brighton are very difficult to play against.
Certainly are.
But once again, a penalty was awarded. I think we were 2-0 up at the time anyway, but it had made it interesting. Dewsbury Hall on this particular occasion. So we had last week, Tarkowski has moved his arm into the ball. Now, as far as I'm concerned, now Dewsbury Hall moves away from the ball. Yeah, they're still awarded a penalty. What did you think?
Difficult one. I mean, he looks like he's trying to get out of the way, doesn't he? Or at least trying to protect himself.
He's got his arm up, hasn't he? But he's turned away from it, and then
a lot of players do that, though, don't they? I mean, if you see them when they're jumping in a wall, they tend to... The arm automatically, instinctively comes up, really, to protect their stomach and chest area.
Now, if we were videoing this, I could explain it better, but you can see through my movement on this swivel chair that if you've got your arm up there and you're facing straight on, then the ball is coming towards you and you are not affecting the ball by your arms are not out. So they're in like that. The minute you turn round like that at an angle, you're not actually making a smaller target, are you? You're making the same target, but just at a different angle. So you're not really preventing. In fact, if anything, you're helping to create a goal, really, by moving sideways because there's less body.
There's less of a target zone, really, to aim at. Did he have the opportunity to move his hands out the way? When the ball was coming? No, I don't think so either.
We heard the explanation of the referee the other week at
yes, we did.
Joey Oars, didn't we? I wasn't quite convinced by that.
No, I mean,
but they've got VAR here, so they can scrutinise all this. There's absolutely no excuses at all.
They probably should have done. To be honest, but they clearly judged it. Handball, natural position, ball speed, etc. And they've given the penalty. I think there needs to be more consistency here.
Most definitely.
All the way through the leagues, even through non-league and amateur level. I think because they're all FA accredited, aren't they? The referees, they're all FA accredited. So you would hope that they all get the same training. But interpretation is everything really in the division of performance, really.
Well, we'll talk about referees at the end of the show, really, because there was an interesting thing that cropped up on our field of play when the goal scorer decided to do one at the end of before the end of the game and ran off the pitch.
Just as he'd scored, yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about that at the end of the show. But what did you watch much of the Everton game?
No, only parts, I'm afraid. Yeah. Looking better though, looking miles better.
Yeah, they looked a lot better. They didn't look as though they were going to concede a goal, which was good. So they looked defensively strong, even though they've got the likes of Branthwaite and who was the other player that was out? Mikalenko,
yeah.
So
was Alcaraz back?
Alcaraz came off the bench, yeah.
Okay, so he's on his way.
Yeah, so they did relatively well considering that the injuries they've got. I just don't know in terms of recruitment. I listened to them all last week saying that Everton need to make at least bring 4 people in before the end of the transfer window. They brought one in. The bloke you mentioned before, what's his name again?
The striker?
No, the winger.
Grealish?
No, who's the fella that just come in? Dibbling.
Tyler Dibbling.
Dibbling. So they brought him in, so they've got to bring 3 more players in on top of that. I don't see how they can do that kind of business. And I've never seen Everton do that kind of business in a short period of time. That said, if anybody can do it, then David Moyes can do it, because he's always been very, very cute in the transfer market, whether that be loans or, he's got a few bob more to spend this time round, hasn't
he? Yes, he absolutely has done. I wouldn't necessarily say he was cute for Man United in the transfer market. Scramble signing Fellaini and Mata.
He didn't have a great deal of opportunity, though, did he, to prove himself, really?
No.
But you're a Manchester United supporter. Well, listen, we'll come to that in a minute. But Grealish provided both assists and almost assisted for a third. If it had been put away, then
he's on his way back.
He's done relatively well. What do you think of Grealish?
I think Grealish. I've always liked him. I've always liked how he plays football. He's a real maverick player. You're never not quite sure what you're going to get with him, but what you can reasonably sure of is that he won't play it safe. He'll push for a gamble ball, or he'll draw defenders in to try and win that free kick. It's how he plays the game.
So he'll get plenty of fouls. Of course, Everton, over the last sort of couple of seasons, that's their strong point, isn't it? Set pieces.
Set pieces have been a bit of a strong point. They are a tall team by all accounts, and they, in a couple of their players, they've got a really good, free kick prowess, if you like. Yeah, so I'm going to expect to see a few more goals coming in from him.
And he makes the difficult look very, very simple.
Yes, he does.
And quite often you don't actually see what he's doing in the game until he's done it.
Yeah.
And then you sort of, you're in awe of the bloke again. I was worried he was going to be a little bit more like the player that we had, that we've recently got rid of, Dele Alli.
Oh, yeah. Well, Dele Alli was a good number 10 8 years ago, when he was making the World Cup squad and he was there for Tottenham and stuff like that. But he wasn't nearly as much of a maverick as what Grealish is. Yeah.
In terms of losing your head, though, I mean, it's such a talented player.
Certainly was, but he still hasn't managed to get himself together. I think he's without a club still.
I think whatever club he was at, I think they've bordering on and getting rid of him.
Yeah, it's Como in the Italian second division, and I don't think he's there. But I think it shows, the mark of difference between the two. I mean, Grealish was hitting his height 2 years ago when City were winning the treble. A lot of that was down to him, but he can't do it from the wing. He's got to be a number 10 in order to manage that. And I think playing in that license to roam as a 10, I think, is the absolute making of him.
Yeah. Well, listen, he looks as though he's enjoying his football at Everton, doesn't he? Listen, just sometimes you need a little bit of love, don't you?
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah, definitely.
So you're right about Dele Alli. He's obviously been told he's no longer part of Como, so he's been... After 18 months, less than 18 months after joining them, he's surplus to requirements. 29 years of age, same age as Grealish? Such a
give or
pity, mate.
take, yeah.
It's just
Sad, isn't it?
Absolute waste of talent. What do you think of David Moyes anyway? Apart from the fact that he didn't really do well for Manchester United, I always have the strong belief that when Alex Ferguson was coming to the end of his reign, they were very, very fortunate that season, in a very, very poor season, to win the Premier League.
Yep.
And I think he knew that it was going to be a total rebuild, and he got out of it pretty handy. And really, United, have they ever recovered from Alex Ferguson leaving?
No.
So you can't really blame Moyes for a great deal of what happened.
No, I don't think so.
What did he have, 8 months?
10.
10 was it?
Yeah, 10 months into a 6-year contract. That's really sad when you think about it. He had less than a year. He finished 7th in his first season, and I think a lot of that would have, remarked how appalling that was, not considering that we've had 2 finishes lower than that since he's been gone. Whereas he's managed to rehabilitate his own image, not necessarily through Real Sociedad, but at West Ham and at Everton again. He has absolutely proved that he is a more than capable manager at this level. And I admire what he did at West Ham, but I admire him more than the actual club himself, because they still, ditched him. And he's gone to Everton and carried on being the manager that we all thought that he was capable of being, whereas West Ham are floundering in the mire. So I can really appreciate who David Moyes is and how he wants to play his football. Defensively, they're absolutely brilliant setup. He's a very good defensive structure of the football game. His attacking prowess, they didn't ever really play with flair, Everton. Or Moyes didn't. He tended to play with
an exciting brand of football.
To a degree, I think he played more physicality than he relied on big men. Whereas with Grealish, you look at him and you think, right, it's a guy with talent, but not necessarily the physicality to dominate the games. You look in the past, you look at players like. Tim Cahill was a perfect example, really. Wasn't big, but knew how to get stuck in. Landon Donovan was another one when he was kicking around there. You had players like James Beattie and Andy Johnson up front. Yakubu as well.
Well, you mentioned Fellaini there, and Fellaini did very, very well for Everton, but when Moyes was taking him to Manchester United, I think that was an indication of how bad things were at Manchester United to bring a player in like Fellaini, don't you?
Yeah, Fellaini was never the kind of player that we wanted him to be. We saw him as being an absolute menace in the number 10 role, but we brought him in and we already had Rooney, who was slowly moving further back the pitch into those number 10 roles. Scholes was still kicking around, and then Juan Mata came along as well. All of them players who could play capably in that number 10 role. So I think Fellaini sort of found himself being a bit of an emergency striker, just sent up top to
uses
fully defend,
height,
uses physicality, and to a degree it worked, but he was never the same player. I
don't know whether he was actually a very tall man or he just had big hair.
Probably a bit of both, to be quite honest with you.
But
He's got rid of it now.
Yeah, talking about players, DCL, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, he still can't hit a barn door. Did you watch any of the highlights of the
Leeds game? The
Leeds game against Sheffield Wednesday in the Carabao Cup?
Didn't he miss a penalty in that game?
He missed a penalty. He missed a string of opportunities, and I'm looking at the face of Daniel Farke. He might be regretting signing him already.
I would think that Dominic Calvert-Lewin is just a bit ring rusty here. I mean, we know what he can do on his day. It's just the fact that these days are very few and far between because of how crippled he is. You get him in a bit of fitness and get him in. He can be a great player. He really can. Good striker, very physical, good in the air.
Well, he spent 9 years at Everton. A lot of it was injury. He was injury prone. So he struggled to get back. And I think he had a period during the pandemic where he scored. I think he had his best sort of tally of goals during the pandemic, if I'm right.
Says a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah, without a crowd, maybe the pressure of it all is a little bit too much. But he is a bit of a risk. I mean, Everton didn't renew his contract. I don't know whether Calvert-Lewin actually wanted to stay. There was rumours that he'd left because of the treatment to his wife. I don't know whether there was a bit of bad banter on social media surrounding that. But it didn't seem like anybody was really interested until the last minute.
No.
I don't think it was the move that Lewin was looking for. Leeds.
No, but I don't know what on earth he could have hoped for, to be quite honest with you. I mean, I don't think any other Premier League team would have taken him in his current state, given his lack of goals, his lack of game time, his lack of match fitness. I mean, how many more things is he lacking in that, before the red flag is, popping up in your brain. So I think he's quite lucky to get to get a shot with Leeds. I know Leeds are, the first season back in the Premier League, you're looking for a striker with a bit of Premier League prowess and a bit of experience. It's quite clear that Patrick Bamford wasn't ever going to fit that mould again because he's very injury prone, but also he hadn't really hit the heights in Premier League football anyway. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, when he's fit, does represent the kind of player that Leeds need. It's just whether he can stay fit and then fit into their team.
I don't think he's ever been the same since Duncan Ferguson left Everton. I think he schooled him. He certainly taught him how to be a proper centre forward, didn't he? Sort of old school.
In much the same way that Duncan Ferguson was when he was playing really big. They're both big physical men. Goal scoring is part of their game, but it's not the entirety of their game. You might be right. But Duncan Ferguson only lasted 4 games or something at Everton. He had a very short period as caretaker.
Yeah, but as a sort of a striker's coach, he was there for quite a while, wasn't
he? He was, yeah.
But listen, what have you picked up from the? I mean, I've been looking at my dream team. I've not really been doing very good with my fantasy team.
God, I haven't even done it yet.
Have you not done it?
I haven't started it, yeah. No, I'm 2 weeks behind everybody else.
Oh dear. You'll probably go on to win it. You were close last season, weren't you?
Yeah, so it came down to the final day between me and Lucas, but Lucas had a bit of a healthy lead already. So there was no way I was catching him. So I was happy to finish second, quite honestly.
I'd have been happy to finish second. I think I was probably second from last. So I didn't do particularly well. But what do you think of the Premier League's start so far, and certainly Manchester United?
It's really, really irritating because I want to give Amorim time, but you see teams like Tottenham in particular, Thomas Frank, you can already see the difference in how they're playing. Whereas United, you can see it in some elements. I mean, I saw it in the opening half an hour against Fulham, and it looked really positive, but the midfield and the defence just cracked again, unfortunately. And
similarities have been made between him and Ferguson in terms of sort of progression and giving him more time. But do you get as much time as Ferguson got back in his day?
Well, bearing in mind, Ferguson took a team that were finishing, 16th, 17th, 18th in the old Division 1. And he immediately took them to finishing 11th. So there was already progress there. Then the season after that, they were finishing top 10, then top 5. And then by 1990, they then won the FA Cup in what was sort of Dean Fergie's sort of last chance saloon at that point, really. And that bought him more time. Now, Amorim, after a while, put all his eggs into the Europa League basket. Whereas, this season he hasn't got that now. So he all has to be in the Premier League. I don't think they'll finish as bad as 15th.
Where does he have to finish to protect his job this season?
I think he has to finish top 10. and with the money that he's spending, I would hope very much that he finished top 6.
Not top 4 to protect his job.
Top 4 is out of reach. I think there are just too many teams.
But the expectation is to be in the Champions League. So if they're not, do you think Cameron will still be in situ next season?
I do, because I don't know who else could possibly do this job. You know, we've had every single kind of manager possible. You know, we had the big names such as Van Gaal and Mourinho. We had the cultural reboot under Solskjaer. We had the no-nonsense management under Erik ten Hag, and now we've got a bit of a...
You've had some big players as well, haven't you? Pogba,
Ibrahimovic, Falcao, Varane.
And no fruit.
Yeah, well, yeah, because they're coming on vastly inflated contract. I think they're just seeing Man United as a bit of a retirement home now. Just play a couple of years on a ridiculous wage and then just ride off into the sunset when it all goes to pot.
And how much have they spent so far at United?
In what kind of time frame?
In this current transfer window?
In this current transfer window, it's just north of 200 million. Yeah, and don't get me wrong, Mbeumo looks the business, and Cunha was showing some serious flashes of it against Fulham. He was probably should have done better with one chance and hit the post with another one. So the signs are there. It's just being able to keep it and retain it in attack, but then also marshalling the midfield. We were just overrun far too easy in midfield. And then obviously our goalkeeper situation is still a bit of an issue. So there's still work that he needs to do, but I believe he's the right man for the job.
So top 10 for United would be a good finish in your opinion?
Yeah.
Who's going to win the league?
Liverpool.
Yeah, I'll go along with Liverpool. Where do you think Everton will finish? I've said top 10 finish would be good. I think they'll struggle. I think 12th is probably a more reasonable prediction.
I think they'll probably finish about 12th or so as well. Yeah.
Who do you think will get relegated?
Wolves.
Sorry, who do you think will push Liverpool the hardest? Arsenal, Chelsea,
it's got to be Arsenal.
City?
It's got to be Arsenal. For the simple fact that Arteta has had enough time now. This is his 5th year, 6th year.
Do you think it's his last go?
He's had one FA Cup to his name and that's it. You've got to have more than that. For the outlay that they've been spending, how much more trust the process can you get?
Yeah, I'm in agreement there. So, okay, you've mentioned Wolves, whoever. Who else do you reckon?
Wolves, Burnley, and... Don't want to say Leeds because that's unfair. Wolves, Burnley.
Well, Villa haven't got off to the greatest of starts.
Don't think they'll get relegated though. I think they've still got too much.
West Ham?
Yeah.
I think West Ham could go.
I think you're probably right. Actually, selling. They've only got Paquetá really, who's of major quality, and Bowen. And I think it won't be long before Bowen leaves. Yeah. I think I can see him going to a Tottenham or a Brentford, something like that.
If Newcastle don't replace Isak, do you think they stay up?
God, yeah.
Seriously?
Yes!
Serious question. Could they be one that could be dragged into a relegation battle?
Nah, still got way too much quality. Jacob Murphy, Anthony Gordon. If they sign a striker, I think they're fine. I really do, yeah. Okay.
So who would be the surprise package? Who could do a Leicester?
Don't think anyone will do a Leicester this season. But if you're looking at, the teams that are, sort of kicking around that area and could just kind of make the leap up, I think the answer is probably Tottenham. And that's daft because obviously they are the Europa League reigning champions. But they finished 16th, 17th in the league.
Yeah.
So...
I think Chelsea.
Chelsea?
Yeah. I think Chelsea might be able to do the damage.
Well, given their outlay, you would certainly hope so.
Yeah.
Ridiculous amount of...
Well, listen, we'll park the bus there on the Premier League and pick up the story on Morecambe. I'll leave that one to you.
So we talked about it last week that Morecambe have finally had some good news. They were taken over by the Punjab Warriors. That was all finalised and signed over. They were allowed to start their Premier League season. They won their first game against Altrincham. New manager in charge in Tsffs Johal. And then they were battered by Aldershot 4-0 on the bank holiday Monday. This may have been a little bit more expected, to be quite honest. You know, they are still very much in the midst of a rebuild job, getting the players back together, getting wages paid. There's so much stuff off the pitch that they need to sort out before even contemplating what they have to do on the pitch. And I think we'll see a different Morecambe as the season progresses. I don't think they're going to wallow in the mire.
So Johal, I don't know how many players they had left at Morecambe, but he managed to sign 12 players in less than a week. So he's done really, really well there.
He has. Yeah.
But just looking at the first game, obviously against Altrincham, 3,408 people witnessed the victory. Former Scam player Ben Tollett got them off to a great start, scoring the opening goal in the 6th minute. And then they equalised. Jimmy Knowles equalised in the 34th minute, but Ben Tollett made an assist as he laid the ball off to Daniel Aguero, who finished it off with a great strike from just inside the box. I mean, that must have been a great feeling, considering where they were less than a week before, when it looked as though they were out of business.
Can't write this. Like, this is the absolute stuff of dreams, isn't it, really? I think Morecambe just needed one win just to prove that they weren't going to be the whipping boys who were left to get relegated all by themselves. I think the game against Aldershot is one that kind of brought them down to earth. Aldershot are a good team. They're well organised. I think they form a league team themselves. Yeah, exactly. So, they've still got, a bit of roughage about them. So I think it's just going to take Morecambe time. And that's all it's going to take. Maybe a season or two, transfer window or two, to kind of get things sorted. I don't want to say that Johal panic bought, but it wouldn't surprise me if he did. He needed a squad. He needed to get bodies in, really.
A little bit like where we were at the Scam were at the beginning of the pre-season. Really.
Pretty much.
Yeah, you just got to get the players over the line and then tinker.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a tier 2 rebuild, isn't it?
Yeah, best of luck to them. Do you think they'll struggle, or do you think they get their act together?
I think if they can finish mid-table, that'll be a good season.
That'll be success for them. Yeah. Okay, well, listen, we carry on with the National League North.
Yeah.
So South Shields top the division with a perfect record.
Okay.
We look at Marine. Marine following a great win over Bedford Town. Marine lost away to Alfreton Town on Bank Holiday Monday with 3 wins and 2 defeats in their opening 5 games. I would imagine their manager Bobby Grant is still relatively pleased with the start the club's made.
I would think so. I mean, the Alfreton game was a bit frustrating in itself. I mean, that they hadn't had a win under their belt at all until they hosted Marine, and I think Marine were wanting to kind of capitalise on that even away from home. Couldn't get there though. Alfreton beat them by 2 goals to 0. And I think Bobby Grant will be disappointed with that result, but I think overall 3 wins and 2 defeats from his opening 5 games is not bad. Okay.
Yeah, considering it's his first managerial position, he's doing all right, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he is. I think he's made a
big boots
steady
to fill.
start. Oh God, yeah, there was always going to be big boots to fill in that respect, but these things happen. So he's just kind of got to keep going and keep plugging away at it. Really, he will get there, and I don't think Marine will be in any danger of finishing as low as what they did last season, or even or lower than that. I think it's just one of those where they've just had an off day, or Alfreton came out very galvanised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By contrast, Southport's start under their new manager Neil Dans has been a more difficult one. They've lost their last 3 matches, but in fairness, the opposition has been rather tough. Macclesfield, Worksop Town and AFC Fylde, the latest teams to defeat them, just 1 win in 5. But the National League North is probably one of the toughest leagues in the non-league pyramid.
Well, yeah, I think that's fair enough. So we'll just go back over that. So Macclesfield, obviously a team promoted last season, but very, very well backed financially, and still managed to retain an enormous chunk of the squad that absolutely dominated the Northern Premier League proper last season. So they were always going to be a bit of a challenge. Worksop Town finished in the playoff places last season, so they were always going to be a bit of a tough cookie to crumble. And then AFC Fylde were the relegated team from last season from the National League. So, again, another team that were going to be very, very challenging. Once Southport start playing teams around them, your Oxford Cities, your Telford Uniteds, your Leamingtons, your Herefords, that is where I think we start to see Neil Dans and Southport perform, a bit more to their owners, if you like. They were unlucky to lose against AFC Fylde as well. It was 3-2. It wasn't that. There really wasn't that much in it. There were tight games. It was well contested. It's just unfortunate that AFC Fylde kind of got away in that game, and it was 0-0 at half time. So there's encouraging signs there for Southport. Yeah.
Decent crowd there, 1,371 for a bank holiday fixture.
Yeah, very much.
I still think it's way below what they really should be getting at Southport if they ever want to get back out of the National League North into the National League proper.
I wonder whether a chunk of that is AFC Fylde supporters. To be honest,
I don't think they have a great deal of following support myself.
To be fair, they had 1,600 against away at home to Macclesfield.
Well, Macclesfield do have a big following.
They certainly do, yeah. But then 1,116 against Bedford Town. So, these numbers, by all accounts, probably represent more of a good following for Southport. 1,778 against Merthyr Town. So, yeah, I think they are quite well followed. I think they need more. And I think they need more getting through the gates just to, bulk up their
you only get them through wins, though, don't you? We know this. We know that winning is the be-all and end-all, isn't it? If you're gonna
for everything,
if you win 3 or 4 games on the trot at home, the gates come back, don't they?
Yeah, we've certainly seen that ourselves in the last couple of weeks, really.
No. Now listen, Macclesfield, new to the division,
yeah,
not having it their own way, albeit they're still in 9th place. They've only lost 1 game, drawn 2, 1-2.
Yeah.
But then now they're at Chester, doing particularly well. They're in 12th position, expecting a little bit more from them, but they've lost 2, 1-2 and drawn 1. It would seem their goal difference, they're not scoring enough goals, really.
No, they're not, and they played teams who they think they would beat normally anyway. So they played Oxford City on the bank holiday Monday, won by 2-1. Oxford City, who were sort of sitting around about the relegation places last season, drew 1-1 with Curzon Ashton, who were again another team that they could last season you would have seen them winning that one. August the 16th, they were beaten, well beaten by Chorley. Ironically enough, that was a reversal of results from last season's playoff when Chester beat Chorley. And then on August the 9th, they drew with Peter. They beat Peterborough Sports, but only just 3 goals to do. Peterborough Sports were a team that they really should be kind of cantering past. And that's no offence to the aforementioned teams, but it just underlines Chester's less than convincing start to the season, and they already seem to be playing catch up on the high flyers, which so far are Chorley and South Shields, both teams unbeaten after 5 games.
Yeah, and Chorley commanded a really good home gate on the bank holiday Monday, 1,406, and their 4-0 win over Kings Lynn. Fabulous gate. I mean, I go back to the days of the Northern Premier League when we were playing them on a regular basis, and they were getting gates nowhere near that. So things have really, really evolved there.
Yeah, very much so. Pretty much since the takeover from the lads from Westlife.
Well, is it a takeover or are they just a figurehead within the football club? I really don't know because, listen, maybe we'll mention it later on in the show, but yeah, we'll mention Daisy Hill later on in the show. I've not really mentioned Rail Bedford, have we? But we'll have a look at Rail Bedford. We're going to have a look at it then probably in next week's show.
Sure.
Yeah, so moving on to the Northern Premier League Division 1. Division of the Northern Premier League.
Yeah.
FC United held onto the top spot despite the fact that they lost to Ashton United on Bank Holiday. We were trying to predict the gate on that one as well.
They were well beaten in that game. Ashton United beating FC United of Manchester by 3-1, which is that's a really good result for them by all accounts. FC United of Manchester coming into that game on a 4-match unbeaten run, 3 straight wins included, whereas Ashton United. Coming into that game, a little bit, maybe a little bit shaky, if you like.
Still only the 1 defeat though, 3 wins and 2 draws.
2 draws though out of that, so a really positive start from the underliners. FC United and Manchester no longer unbeaten, but still holding top spot. Although they are level with Rushall Olympic.
We're a little bit worried about Rushall Olympic last season, weren't we? But they seem to have, after relegation, it seemed to have sparked life back into them again.
Yeah, I think they were able to take some stock and allow themselves a bit of a reset. So they drew 1-1 with Hensford Town away. Hensford, who went up a division by winning in the playoffs of the Northern Premier League West, and now actually have made a pretty steady start themselves. They're 7th place, 3 wins, a draw and 2 defeats from their opening 6 games.
Really good gates there as well, don't they?
Oh, they were an enormously well followed team at Hensford Town.
It's a lovely stadium. Have you ever been?
Never been Hensford.
Yeah, lovely stadium.
Down Staffordshire way, is it?
I would imagine it's around that sort of middle area. Yeah, really nice people down there as well.
Look at that.
Yeah, well, looking at the table there, like you say, FC United still topping it. Warrington Rylands in 4th place, despite the fact that they lost to Prescot Cables, who have had a pretty topsy-turvy start up until that point. That seems to have rejuvenated them a little bit.
Well, they are still 4 games unbeaten, but 2 of those were draws. So it's a not exactly an inspiring start, but a pretty steady one nonetheless. They're still in 10th place, and I still fancy them to, stay in the top half of the table this season.
It's Steve Daly, isn't it? That's manager there, or is it?
No, it is Steve Daly. Yeah.
Yeah. The only problem there is they've only scored 6 goals in 6 games, but. On the sort of flip side of that, they've only conceded 3, so they've got a really, really good defence.
Joint tightest in the division, actually. Only other team to concede that few is Ashton United, also conceding 3. So, I think it proves what I've been saying all along, which are, the best teams are built on the mean defences, not the elegant attack. So fair play to Prescot Cables. They've clearly, figured that one out early on.
Yeah, not looking so good for Workington.
No, Workington.
1 point in 6 games.
Yeah.
Morpeth Town a little bit better off, and Stocksbridge Park Steels both 3 points. But Stocksbridge Park Steels have drawn 3, lost 2.
Yeah.
And scoring seems to be their problem.
Scoring does seem to be their problem. They drew 1-1 at Guiseley at the weekend. Drawn 2 games out of their last 3, and then lost the other one. But still managing to accrue points despite not having won a game yet. Third from bottom of the league at this point, and a couple of points ahead of Workington down at the bottom. So still plenty to play for there.
Yep, so we're moving on to the Northern Premier League West Division now.
Yep. And
Lower Breck, once again, are still defying the odds as they sit proudly at the top of the division following a fantastic victory, very much a Derby Day victory at Bootle on Bank Holiday Monday. We featured Gary Moore on the show towards the end of last season.
Yep.
He was doing an amazing job then.
Yep.
He's doing an even more amazing job now. And like I said, I think it was last week, the only worry there is in terms of their stadium is whether if they go back-to-back promotions, can they get the required work done? I know they're given another 12 months.
They have been given another
grace
12 months
after that.
Yeah,
but,
I think they have a lot that they're going to need to work on. The Anfield Sports Community Centre that we visited a few weeks ago when we played Joey Oars, and it was not in the greatest of conditions. Now, I'm not saying that Lower Breck don't have the funding and capabilities to do that, but there is going to be a lot of work in order to make that eligible for the Northern Premier League proper.
It's a council-owned facility, I would imagine, isn't it?
It is. I think it is a council-owned facility, yeah, but I think they'll still put a bit of money into it, will Lower Breck. A lot of their signature and logos adorn the centre itself, so it is very much half and half, if you like. A lot of people know that stadium as being Lower Breck's ground rather than actually a community, a sports venue in its own right.
And it really is an amazing story when you think back to the fact that it's not so long ago when they were playing in the Liverpool Premier League themselves.
Yeah, was it 4 years ago, 5 years ago they were playing in the...
It's not long. I mean, they've not been formed that long, have they?
No, 2010
was it?
2010, I think.
Yeah, about 15 years old or something.
Yeah, exactly. And like you say, you spend a lot of time in that in that division, and eventually it becomes quite cutthroat. So we can see that what happens when so much time and so much money and so many people come together to commit to this cause, that you can and do jump up. They're one of only 2 teams left within that division who are unbeaten. The other one being Runcorn Linnets, who sit in 5th. But they're the early pace setters so far. I think Gary Moore will be delighted.
Vauxhall Motors are unbeaten, I see, but they're in 13th place
with 3 draws. Yeah,
with 3 draws and a win.
4 games. Yeah,
4 games. Yeah.
Well, can't knock that. So 3 teams. Bury, meanwhile, 17th out of 22 teams. Now, not a lot of people, I think, would have expected or at least hoped that Bury would be up there with Lower Breck and Stafford Rangers fighting for top spot. And in fact, a lot of the naysayers of Bury FC have been adorning the Facebook pages with a sinking ship there, with the name of the ship being HMS Piss the League, which is one of my favourite sayings in football ever. Yeah. But it would just appear that it's a sinking ship. But I don't think that's the case. I think anybody who expected a team to come up through the Northwest Counties and immediately start challenging for the Northern Premier League West title, I think was holding on to a bit of a pipe dream. I know Lower Breck are top. It'll be very interesting to see whether they can prolong that.
Well, I think the big difference between the 2 teams, Lower Breck and Bury, is that Bury have made a lot of signings, haven't they, over the summer period, where Lower Breck seems to have been more quiet in their approach. And this is when I talk about stardust and the fact that Gary Moore, whatever Gary Moore's doing in there and whatever sort of market he's tapped into, they seem to be a very close-knit football club, really good friends.
I think you're right.
And I think that probably makes a whole load of difference. Do you think it's more difficult at this level to create the camaraderie when you're making changes? Because Bury are trying to be very much one step ahead of the rest. Is this a case of build over the next couple of seasons because they know that they've got to push? Is it fair to say that this might be a season of consolidation and growth?
I think that's possible. I think that's possible. I think what's unusual, though, is why they decided to do that when they... Yeah, I wouldn't say that they ran away with the North West Counties League last season, but they won it really well. They won it in a bit of style. And considering as well that they went almost the entirety of 2025 unbeaten, you would hope that actually there wouldn't be real need for much of a rebuild. And I wonder whether they wanted to consolidate this squad in the hope for challenging straight away for the playoffs, bringing in talent that was already Northern Premier League West ready.
Do you think that's down to the manager, though? The manager's obviously seen that the personnel that he's got, maybe he doesn't feel are good enough for the next step up. I think very much similar to what Lower Breck and Jesse Dowling doesn't seem to be featured in as often now, and yet scored in excess of 20 odd goals last season. And maybe listen, I'm not suggesting for 1 minute that Jesse Dowling's not good enough at the high level.
No, but
maybe he's carried injuries. I don't know.
Well, you've got to then look at it from Bury's point of view and why Lewis Simon Byrne was immediately released after the tail end of last season, because he's still proven that he's North West Counties capable. He's banging in the goals for Chadderton still. Couldn't make the grade at Bury. Was he given a fair
So what do you think Bury will do now? Do you think they'll buy half of Lower Breck?
I don't think Lower Breck could even consider it.
Well, it's good business if they do. But listen, let's get back to Bury, because Bury obviously got knocked out of the FA Cup by Stalybridge Celtic, and then the last game was a repeat a repeat of last week's result in the FA Cup. So they lost 2-0 on both occasions.
At Bury on this occasion.
So Dave McNabb will be deeply disappointed, but reading between the lines, and I've listened to one of the two of his YouTube videos, he feels as though they're not far away. So I think they might kick on there, and I don't think there's a great deal to worry about.
No, I don't think there's a great deal to worry about. I don't think they've had the easiest of starts, and I don't think they've had the easiest of teams to play against either. I think they beat Whitton Albion, but then they obviously had the Stalybridge Celtic defeat, and I think they've also played I think it was Afro and drew that one as well. So teams in this division, I think it is a bit of a step. And
it's another tough division as well, isn't it? Let's look at it for what it is. Clitheroe not made the greatest of starts either. So Sean McConville's team have only won 2, drawn 1, lost 1. So I know it's early doors.
Well, they won the first 2 games, and then they drew against Mossley 0-0 in a game that they would widely expected to win, and then they just lost in the last week to Atherton Collieries,
who didn't have the greatest of starts themselves.
No, they didn't, and I think they were sort of quite adrift of the.
They've had a great weekend, haven't they? Because they won both games.
They did, yeah, and that's given Michael Clegg a little bit of breathing room as well. And I think it probably shows why he fully deserves to be in the job. Yeah,
and really likeable character. I'd love to get him on the show.
Yeah,
we've got to give him. If you're listening, give us a bell,
please.
Pass your details on.
Exactly.
So, any other surprises in that division at all?
Not so far. I think it's probably working out how we thought it might at this stage in the season. Really, yeah.
I don't know a great deal about Shifnal Town, but I think I'll have to do a little bit of research on them ones because they could be a surprise package themselves.
Well, they are new to the division, aren't they? I think they came up from. Did they? I think they moved sideways along with Sporting Kalsa. And they came in from the Midlands division.
Yeah.
Into the Northern Prem. Two teams with a bit of enigma about them.
Yeah. And listen, we're climbing right down the non-league pyramid now to the sort of bottom two rungs, the 5th and 6th steps of the North West Counties. Padiham, top of the Premier Division of the North West Counties.
Yes.
No surprise, really.
Probably not. They've consolidated their winning run at the top. 5 games, 5 wins, and a goal difference of +10. It's looking really good for the Padiham side. A 3-1 win over last season's 3rd place team, Ramsbottom United over in East Lancashire, in front of a decent crowd as well, 683.
Well, the gates have been picking up. They did towards the sort of middle stages of last season when you could tell they were going to do rather well.
Yeah.
And they had that great run, didn't they?
They did.
Towards the end of the season.
Yeah, which sort of catapulted them up from the Nearly men right into it. So I think they sort of deserve to be where they are, and I wonder whether they might stay there. Obviously it's very early to tell in this season, but I think these are the games now where you wonder if you can start to get a bit more of a feel of who is going to do what. And I think when we look at this again in April, we'll probably find that Padiham are there or thereabouts.
Do you still think Ramsbottom will be in the chase?
I do, yeah. I still think that they will be in the chase. They are only 2 points behind Padiham at this stage. I think that defeat was their first one of the season. Otherwise, they've just had the one draw along with 4 wins. So they've made a really good start, and I still expect to see him there. Same with Chadderton as well.
And talking about Lewis Simon Burnley, he scored 2 goals for Chadderton in their 4-1 win over FC St Helens.
Yeah.
Not a great crowd, 186.
I know.
They don't get a great deal of support, do they, unfortunately?
It's really unfortunate.
They play a really good brand of football as well.
Yeah. I think part of it has to do with how accessible Oldham Athletic is at this point. They're not in the Premier. They're not in the Football League at the moment, or Oldham. I think they're in the National League themselves. So it's far more accessible and far cheaper than what it was. Maybe when Oldham go up, Chadderton will start to see the crowds pick up, or even if Chadderton go up themselves, they'll start to see the crowds pick up. Either which way, or they're still really well backed. They've got Lewis Simon Byrne back, and he's just scoring goals for fun now.
Yeah, and looking at Everton LR after a shaky start, they're building up ahead of steam, aren't they?
They're building up on form now, absolutely. So they began the season with a couple of defeats against very top flight opposition. I think they lost to Padiham and Ramsbottom in their opening couple of games. So they've finally started to get a bit of form and a bit of momentum behind them. So they're now up to 8th in the division. 5 games played, 3 wins. No draws and 2 losses. The latest of which was a very emphatic 5-0 win against Stockport Town. Tom Romano grabbing 2 of the 5 there in front of a really good crowd again. 269 packing out at Crilly Park to watch that happen. So they're starting to build up some gates there too.
Yeah, and just a little correction on previous comment there. Oldham Athletic, I think they got promoted last season, so they're in League 2 currently.
Interesting.
Did they win the league last season? The National League National League Premier Division? I think they did, didn't they?
Yeah.
Oh no, they didn't, did they? Oh, I can't remember. Anyway, listen, they're definitely in They're definitely in Division 2 anyway, but never mind. Listen, Abbey Hay beat Glossop in that Manchester derby, 324 people there. You're sort of frowning at me, Manchester derby?
Is that a Manchester derby when Glossop is in Derbyshire?
Is Glossop in Derbyshire?
Well, I think it holds it's either a DE postcode or an SK postcode.
You're probably right, but listen, it's close enough anyway to call it a derby for my... for all I'm concerned.
Right,
but listen,
okay.
Richard Brodie's not having a great start, is he?
No, unfortunately not. So they've collected 5 points from 5 games, yet to win at home this season, and just the one win on the road, which I think was against FC Isle of Man. But no, not a good start for him at all. And I think Abbey Hay was one of those games where he really was hoping to win it. It's quite a lot of work for him to do.
And after a ropey start, AFC Liverpool got a good win on their travels on Saturday. I tell a lie, on Monday in the bank holiday fixture against Pilkington. Yeah. They managed to beat Pilkington's 4-0. Elliot Taylor scored a hat-trick.
Yes, he certainly did. Very really talented player. That guy that puts AFC Liverpool up into 20th position, having I think been rooted to the bottom of the table. Still yet to win away from home, but getting their first win of the season on the road and in some style as well.
Just don't know what to make of Pilkington. They started off the season with was it a win against?
Oh, it was a huge win against West Didsbury and Chorlton.
Yeah,
5-2.
Doesn't make any sense at all.
At West Didsbury and Chorlton, yeah, but unfortunately that's sort of firmly behind them now as they sit 18th in the table. So still not a bad start for them, but could have done better.
And raised eyebrows when I mentioned Bearscough being there or thereabouts at the during the pre-season when I was making my predictions. A great win on the road, but South Liverpool not doing particularly well. They're not that bad, really, actually.
South Liverpool is sitting in 9th, so I think it probably says an awful lot about Bearscough, and their performances at the minute. Stephen Rigby grabbing 2 within the first half, and I think the contest was almost done before half-time, really, when Elliot Devine gave them their 3rd in the first minute of injury time at the end of the first half. So they're on a really good run, and I think he might be right. I think they could be up there or thereabouts. Dempsey's doing an awful lot for them at this point.
Certainly is. Wythenshawe battered FC Isle of Man 4-0. It doesn't look very good for the Isle of Man at the moment.
No, it really doesn't. So that's their... they've played 7 games and they've 6 defeats. So that's a really disappointing start to the season.
Unusually for them, because I always thought FC Isle of Man started strong.
Yeah.
Consolidated their position up in the top half and then dropped off gently during the latter half of the season, which is not the case this time round.
No,
it'd be interesting to see what's going wrong there. Say what's going on. It's recruitment. Everything about the Isle of Man is difficult, and as much as it's great to go over there, and we, as part of the entourage that went over to the Isle of Man the season before last, we had an absolutely fantastic time there, and it's a great place to go. It's great to have them in the northwest counties, and I just hope that when if and when we eventually get back into the northwest counties, we end up taking a trip over there again, because I had a fabulous time. Fabulous people over in the Isle of Man.
Yeah.
But it's
love to go.
Yeah, City of Liverpool. Bottom.
We knew this was going to be a really difficult season for them. They're faced with a huge rebuilding job. They've relocated over to Bearscough, so they're having to source out players from that local area, and it's not happening quite the way that they would have wanted to. So a 4-1 defeat against a very organised and informed West Didsbury and Chorlton. Probably not the the most unexpected result we've ever seen. Although they did take the lead after half an hour through Rob Murphy, but then West Didsbury and Shorten come roaring back, getting in to the lead just before half time, and then Christian Holt grabbing a double within the second half. Decent turnout as well at the community ground, 181. Yeah.
Yeah, do you see similarities between us and them?
Yeah, if you are a tenant at the community ground, you are cursed.
You could say that, but equally you could also say that once the bottom or the rug is pulled from underneath you financially, it's about survival. I mean, that's what we've done. And if you look at City of Liverpool, and it doesn't matter where your politics are in terms of, you know, whether you like the current setup or you don't, they seem to be floating certainly financially, desperately trying to keep the club together.
I think they are, yeah. Obviously, we don't know the terms of the deal that they've cut with Paul Gilchrist and Prescot FC in terms of rent charges on the stadium. We do know that a lot of their players are players who actually used to play for us. I think there's at least 4 on the books for City of Liverpool now that used to be on ours from last season. And whether these players are getting paid. I wouldn't have thought that they are, or they may be getting a very small amount. But this is how it is when you float and you've got no money. And like we talked about time and time again, there isn't much loyalty in football without money. So
I don't think there's as much sympathy, perhaps, for City of Liverpool because they've never had their own home.
No, they ground shared at Widnes for a long time, didn't they? And I think they ground shared at a couple of other places.
Bootle.
Prior to that, Bootle being one of them. And I think a lot of how their genesis came about was based on disgruntled group of fans. At,
they didn't actually sell it as disgruntled, did they? They were just an alternative to, or was that AFC Liverpool? There's that many teams that started up in recent years. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But it's a difficult one because you feel as though they don't get the sympathy that a lot of established clubs would get because they've never actually had the own home. But they've tried desperately to get a piece of land within Liverpool.
Oh, that's easier said than done.
Very much similar to... Listen, when they started, they had a decent fan base, didn't they? A half-decent fan base. Yeah. It was nowhere near what FC United and Manchester was going to be.
No, of course not. I don't think anybody would expect it to be. FC United and Manchester were born out of Manchester United breakout.
Well, they were definitely disgruntled, weren't they?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, they were made in 2005 after the takeover of the Glazer family, whereas you don't really get that with City of Liverpool. They were broken out, from... Was it AFC Liverpool that they were a breakout from?
Who?
AFC Liverpool. Is that where City of Liverpool...
No, 2 separate entities.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, I know. I just wonder if, in the same way that FC United and Manchester were broken out from Manchester United, where the City of Liverpool were broken out from AFC Liverpool.
I think the problem is that people soon forget unless you are actually there and involved at the time.
That's a real problem as well. Like Liverpool, as we know, is an absolute breeding ground for football teams. Really, there's so many teams that just want to play football. So many players that teams are popping up left, right, and centre. I mean, we know it in being in the Liverpool Premier Division, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on and how that's panning out. But City Liverpool, South Liverpool, AFC Liverpool, just within the Premier Division alone. That's a lot of demand on Merseyside's.
Yeah, my only gripe, and it is a small, minor gripe, is that when these teams set up, I always felt as though, why don't you support one of your teams within Liverpool? Like Bootle, one of the biggest clubs within the Liverpool area.
Yeah.
You've got South Liverpool, you mentioned a few. Why not attach yourself to a club that actually needs your support rather than start up right from fresh? And, listen, with Litherland, crikey, there's just a plethora of teams, and that's just in the Premier Division alone. But listen, we'll move on to Division 1 North, and following that great interview with McGull's manager Joey Burns last week, McGull pulled off a magnificent win when they beat Frickley Athletic away from home last Saturday. That must have been one hell of a journey back home on the coach.
Oh, I would have thought so. Yeah.
We talked about team bonding.
Yeah, we very much did, and I think there would have been a lot of that there. So McGull went over to Frickley Athletic in front of a crowd of 152. We talked about the fearsome strike partnership of Darren Brannigan and Jacob Till. Brannigan getting on the score sheet, but Sam Smith kind of stealing the day with 2 goals of his own on a very emphatic 5-1 win for McGull there. So absolutely a big and very enjoyable coach trip back for those guys there.
A bit of coach karaoke on the way back, no doubt.
Oh God, really?
Yeah.
Do you reckon?
So listen, it was the first qualifying round of the FA Vars on Saturday, so we'll just take a quick look at some of the clubs that fared well. Bearscough managed to beat MSB Walton 4-2 in a crowd of crowd of 113. Christian Makuko, who I think is a fabulous player, he managed to get on the score sheet.
Yeah, from what I've heard of the local news article putting that in, I think they say he's a serious talent for the
he's amazing. Yeah. Absolutely amazing. And believe it or not, was playing at Garswood last season.
Right, in the West Cheshire League.
In the Cheshire League.
In the Cheshire League, yes. So he's jumped up 2 divisions and he's doing incredibly well there.
Yeah. So the other teams that progressed within the division, Prestwich Hayes beat 1874 Northwich 2-0 away from home. Abbey Hay lost on penalties to Doncaster City. Alsager progressed with a 2-1 win. Barnoldswick beat Birdley Town 3-2. Pilkington unfortunately lost to Brigg Town. Charnock Richard beat Ashton Athletic, no surprise there. Crowell Colts, Crowell. They beat.
It's definitely Crowell.
Oh, you know, because you were.
My mum used to work in Crowell.
Crowell. Okay. They managed to beat Main Road 2-0.
Yeah.
Exton Villa beat Worsborough Bridge Athletic 2-1. Local lad Raj Uppal, he managed to get them off to a 32-minute start with a goal, and Lewis Swarbrick scored the decisive goal in the 86th minute because Keelan Gristed he'd opened the scoring actually. So
opened the scoring for
Exton
came from behind,
Came from behind, yes. FC St Helens, they lost to Penistone Church 4-3 on penalties. Yeah. As we mentioned, McGull managed to beat Frickley Athletic. Fulwood Amateurs beat AFC Liverpool on penalties 3-2. Garstang beat Prudo Youth. Unfortunately, Glossop North End lost to Bacup Borough, so it's been a miserable weekend for them. That was on penalties. Decent win for Bacup because they've not had... I don't think they played a league game yet, have they? Because
they haven't.
Their clubhouse was getting rebuilt.
Exactly, yeah. So they've
is that the reason why they've not played?
It is, yeah. It's either their clubhouse or it's their pitch. It's one of the two. So they've just had to postpone their games, which is unfortunate. But they are up and away on the cup side of things, and the fact that they managed to stay match fit, given that Glossop North End have had a good 5-game head start on them. That's very impressive when you think about it like that. So Holker Old Boys beating Brighton and Crawbrook Albion 2-0. Litherland Remica losing to Rossington Main on penalties after a 2-2 draw in normal time. Liversedge beating Camel Laird by a goal 0. Market Drayton Town, despite taking the lead in the first minute of the game, lost to bottom of the table Hormond by 3 goals to 1. Nelson finally managing to pick themselves up after some really difficult results, beating Alnwick Town 4-1 in front of a very small crowd there, with just 96 to see them winning that game. Padiham beating Sunderland RCA by on penalties 5-4 after a 2-2 draw in normal time. Steeton losing to Parkview AFC by 2 goals to 0. Colne beating Seaham by a goal to 0. And Squires Gate losing to Tadcaster Albion 2-1. Stafford Town winning by a single goal against Tividale. Stockport Town winning 3-0 against our opponents in this round of competition last season, Selby Town, when we went on our coach journey. Stockport winning 3-0 against Selby. And City of Liverpool winning 4-2 on penalties against Swallownest, who are based in Rotherham and have a lady chairman. Thornton Cleveland's winning 2-1 against Chesterley Street Town. Wolverhampton Casuals losing to Dudley Town 2-0. And Wolverhampton Sporting Community winning a goal to 0 against Westfields in front of a crowd of 27.
And just briefly hitting on the Edward Chase Cup, which started on the 26th, Tuesday.
Yep.
Fulwood Amateurs beat Seaton away from home. Bit of a shock result there.
Very impressive.
For them, very impressive. Folleymere beat Allscott Heath 3-2. And Wolverhampton Sporting Community beat Shawbury United on their travels 3-1. Yes. Although it says community on penalties. That doesn't make any sense.
Oh, don't ask.
No, I don't know what happened there.
Anyway.
But anyway, listen, let's briefly look at the tables as we round up the Northwest Counties. Obviously no changes in the Division 1 North and Division 1 South.
They didn't play.
No, so Telford is still top in the Division 1 South, with Runcorn Town sitting in second place, and it's McGull and Steeton respectively in Division 1 North.
Yeah.
Right, so AJ, we move on to the predictions part of the show and the fixtures for the weekend.
We do.
Starting tonight, of course, because we're recording on Wednesday nights. The Edward Chase Cup preliminary round. South between Telford Town and Hoffman.
Oh, God, we will never figure that out.
No, I was going to Google that, but I didn't get the chance because my electricity's been off all day.
Yeah, we got no signal around here either.
No, and it's really awful. But listen, tonight's game against Hoffman, I think Telford Town.
Yeah, me too.
Judged on the
how they've started
position they are at the moment. I'm going for the. Yeah. Listen, the interesting one, the biggest game of the weekend, there's absolutely no doubt about it, are the games that the Northwest Counties are involved in the first qualifying round of the FA Cup. And at the top of that one is Atherton LR against Atherton Collieries at Crilly Park. That is an amazing fixture.
Huge game.
Well, it's huge because both teams didn't particularly start off well.
No.
And they both seem to have come into their own.
Starting to get the hang of it now, aren't they, really? Yeah, Atherton LR now, is it 5 wins and 5 clean sheets in all competitions now, whereas Atherton Collieries had that really good turn of fortune at the weekend. That's going to be a massive game, and I think one everyone in the town of Atherton will be looking forward to. So,
which way do you see that going, mate?
The
heart says
LR,
but then Atherton Collieries,
the head,
really well drilled, organised team.
There's a reason that they're in the Northern Premier League West, and there's a reason that they're staying there at the minute. I think it's an away win. I'd love to see LR win that one, but I think it's Collieries win.
I take it there's still replays in the FA Cup, isn't there? Yeah.
Even at that level.
Because they've changed it again, haven't they, from last season. So I could see a draw coming off here myself. So I don't know. You're going for...
Collieries.
Right, AJ is going for Atherton Collieries, and I'm going to say a draw, and a replay.
All right then.
Bishop Auckland versus Chadderton. Bishop Auckland got a huge reputation in the FA Cup once upon a time, I believe.
Yeah.
Have I dreamt that up?
Reached the first round very, very recently.
Not too sure.
Yeah.
I get mixed up between them and Bishop Stortford.
Well, I think it'll be a home win. I'm seeing Bishop Auckland winning this one.
Right, I'm not entirely sure. I think it could go both ways. I'd like to see Chadderton win it. So I'm gonna put my neck out and I'm gonna go for Chadderton. So that's for me, and you're going for Bishop Auckland.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on to Hebburn Town versus Longridge Town.
Home win for me.
Home win for you. I'm going to go for Longridge. Really going against the grain here, but West Auckland Town versus Wythenshawe.
Home win, I think.
Home win.
Yeah.
For
West Auckland Town.
I'm going for Wythenshawe. So we're going really against each other here, aren't we?
We are.
And we need to look at what results we had last week, by the way.
Well, yeah, I mean, all of mine are actually spoken. I didn't write them down because we were remote.
I wrote them down. Listen, just going back to Bishop Auckland, by the way, their best performance in the FA Cup came in the 4th round.
What?
In 1954-55 season.
The 4th round? That's jokes.
Yeah. Sorry, and when we're talking about their history in the FA Cup, I meant their FA Amateur Cup history, because they won it on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 occasions. I think they hold the record as the most performance winners in the Amateur FA Cup.
Yeah.
Amazing.
God.
So okay, we've gone slightly off the ball here.
Yeah.
Westonsbury and Chorlton versus Runcorn Linnets.
It's a great game.
Great game. I think it's going to be a close one. It's going to be a big crowd.
Big crowd, absolutely. I'm seeing 1,000 plus going there.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be a close one, unfortunately. I think Runcorn Linnets have the win here.
Well, I'm going to go with you on that one. I'm going to go for Runcorn myself.
Finally, we agree on something.
Yeah.
So, the fixture list takes us away from the Emirates FA Cup first qualifying round now and takes us to the more domestic competitions. So we start in the North West Counties Premier Division. AFC Liverpool versus City of Liverpool. What a good derby.
Well, yeah, that's an amazing one. That, I mean, expecting a big gate for that one, I would imagine.
You would hope so, wouldn't you, really? Given there's got to be more City of Liverpool fans based in Liverpool.
It will be the first time, I would imagine, that they've... Oh, no, it wouldn't be the first time they've competitively played in the same division because, well, I don't know. Yeah, they must have played each other in the league before.
Yeah.
So where are you going there for that one?
AFC Liverpool...
I'm going AFC Liverpool.
I'm going AFC Liverpool as well.
Right. Bearscough versus FC St Helens.
It's a good local derby, that one.
I'm going for Bearscough.
Me too.
Yeah. Charnock Richard versus Abbey Hay.
Draw.
I'm going for Abbey Hay. Glossop North End versus South Liverpool.
I'm backing Brodie on this one. Home win.
Yeah.
I want him to get his first home win of the season.
Yeah, and I'm just beginning to wonder whether these are must-win games for him coming
already?
up. So yeah. I mean, their expectations were really high, to be competing for the playoffs.
Yeah.
So I'm not suggesting that that the revolving door is started moving, but listen.
Yeah.
You don't know who the first casualties are going to be in the managerial merry-go-round.
True.
Anyway, Litherland Remica versus Earlham. I think
win.
Earlham are going to win that. Yeah. Pilks versus Barnoldswick Town. I'm going for Barnoldswick Town.
I'm going to say a draw on this one.
You're going for a draw. Prestwich Hayes versus Cheadle Town.
Away win.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Stockport Town versus Exton Villa.
Draw.
You know what? I'll go for the draw as well. FC Isle of Man versus Padiham. Padiham all day long. Yeah.
First Division North. Ashton Athletic versus Droylsden. So normally would have said Droylsden with sort of immediacy.
You'd have normally said nailed on, wouldn't it?
But they've not made the best start to the season. I do think, though, that they will... I do think that they'll be fine against Ashton Athletic, and that's no disrespect to the Broxteeds Park outfit. I just think Droylsden have a bit too much quality in the tank.
Right, okay. We're going for Droylsden. Both agree on that. Ashton Town versus Bacup Borough. I think Ashton Town will win that. I think
Ashton Town too.
Yeah, definitely. Colne versus Garstang.
That's a really bizarre one, that. It's
not much separating the two. They're just goal difference. They're both on 4 points. Both had a difficult start. Colne have played one game less. I'm going for Colne.
I'm going to say a draw.
And your AJ is going for a draw. Darwin versus AFC Blackpool.
Home win.
Yeah, I'm going for Darwin as well. Fulwood Amateurs versus Daisy Hill. Well, listen, we were going to talk about Daisy Hill, weren't we?
Yeah, we were. Not exactly set the place alight with their big social media following, are they?
So it's called the Ginge Power Stadium, so it's not called the Angry Ginge. I know they're playing away from home on this occasion, but I think if they'd have called it the Angry Ginge Stadium, it might have been a bit more hostile.
Potentially.
A bit more sort of fighting spirit into it.
But I mean, there's some decent turnouts for their games every so often, but they're not consistent, really. And the team themselves aren't really playing to strength either. They're sitting 15th in the table out of 18 teams. They are yet to win, having just 2 draws all season. And Fulwood Amateurs actually started really well. Yet to win at home, but 2 wins away. So, on that basis, you'd think Fulwood Amateurs.
Yeah, well, I'm going for Fulwood as well. But
me too.
I'm a little bit sort of nonplussed by Daisy Hill, really. I don't know what their target or aim is, whether they're sort of going too high in their...
Do you reckon they're reaching a bit too much?
Yeah, in terms of... I don't see where the money's coming from.
No.
Whether they're trying to create a... what would you call it? Trying to create a vision, or
you would think so, wouldn't you?
They're not. You expect that they're bringing a little bit more money to the table. Are they actually bringing any money to the table?
I would think they. Well, not necessarily. I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to spread their vision around people who are like-minded. So we know that the 2 guys who are very much involved in this are YouTubers. And I think they are trying to spread the influence around to other YouTubers to then buy into the club more. And therefore creating a bit more of a money stream for them. From what I gather, their live streams are actually enormous, and when they do stream their games, they get a lot of people tuning in on YouTube to watch them, but it's not really reflective in them turning up to the actual stadium and paying a ticket.
But what starts out maybe as a social media dream could quickly turn into an ambition as well, because we know how quickly you can get involved in non-league football and how quickly you can fall in love with it.
Yeah.
So you hope that, I don't know whether Aaron Hunt was a particular fan of football or a particular fan of Daisy Hill, but you'll certainly pick up the bug really quickly.
Yes, you do.
And we do know Angry Ginge, he's run his own team in that Ballers League or whatever it's called.
United.
Yeah. United.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm not going to get anywhere with my impersonations, but...
No.
So what do you make it of all?
I think it's a bit of a less than inspiring start, considering how much vision they seem to have been pumping into the team.
I expected more, to be honest.
I expected more. I don't think this is the end of them, and I still think they'll have a good season. I think they've still got some really good players on show. I think up front they've got Caden Barlow, who on his day can be a real problem. They've got Morgan Nunes in goal, who Jacob Ridings in defence. Good quality players. Just not quite where they want to be.
But in many ways, you want it to work, don't you? Because it's good for people that live locally. It's good for them supporters there.
Yeah, true.
It's good in an area where there's not a great deal of entertainment to be had.
Not particularly. I mean, if you go about 10 minutes down the road, you come to Atherton. If you go sort of 5 minutes in the other way, you come to West Horton. There are places around there, but the Daisy Hill almost stands alone in the northwest counties for its reach. Other than that, you've got teams in the Bolton area who play in the West Lancashire, but they stand alone really in being Bolton based.
But listen, they've certainly put them on the map, if nothing else.
Certainly have, yeah. I think their following is enormous, but whether that becomes a fruitful following, we are yet to find out.
MSB Walton versus Holker Old Boys.
Gotta be Holker.
Yeah, I'm going for that as well. Nelson versus Thornton Cleveleys. A few weeks ago, I'd have said Thornton Cleveleys would be struggling down the bottom of the table. But it's the opposite way around, really. It's Nelson that are having the struggles.
They are having a bit of a difficult time. They're 14th.
1 win in 3 games.
1 win in 3 games, yeah. I'll still say Nelson because they had a good win at the weekend, but I think it'll be very tight.
Yeah, I'll go along with you there as well, I think.
True.
Nelson will come
Alrighty.
good there.
Squiresgate versus Main Road. Both have had really difficult starts to the season, and I think it's just going to end up in a draw between them both.
Well, Main Road are not doing so bad, the third.
Main Road might have been third, but they've got 3 wins and a loss, but they had a really disappointing loss against Crowell Colts at the weekend. So I'd be more inclined to say that they'll lose this one against Squiresgate as well.
Well, I'm going for Main Road, and you're going for
a draw.
You're going for a draw.
I'm going to say a draw this one.
Right. Steeton versus McGull.
God, first
that's top of the table clash already, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm still going to say McGull. I think it'll be tight though. Yeah.
Listen, the only thing I would say is that their away record is slightly different, isn't it? In terms of they've only played them 1 game, haven't they? Yeah. Scored 2 goals. Yeah. Listen, I'm going to go for McGull as well.
There you go. And then we'll briefly run over the First Division South. So, Alscott Heath versus Stafford Town. That's an away win for me.
Yes, most definitely.
Alsager Town versus Stockport Georgians. Draw.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
I'll go for Stockport Georgians.
Ashville versus Telford Town. Away win for me.
Yeah, definitely away win for that. So that's AJ and FH. Heedle Cheath.
Cheadle Heath.
Heath. Nomads, yeah.
Cheadle Heath Nomads against Barnton. That's a home win for me. Barnton, briefly, the team that Deck Hill played for before making his way back to Ashton Athletic for another spell in the yellow and blue. So, yeah, Cheadle Heath Nomads for me.
I'm going for Barnton.
Bye.
Foley Mere versus Huffman.
After their result at the weekend, I got a little bit more confidence in Hormond, so I'm going to say a draw.
Hormond. Yeah, I'll go for a draw.
New Mills versus Eccleshaw. That's a New Mills win for me.
I think that's a tight one. I'll go for a draw. You're going for New Mills. Sandbach versus Wolverhampton Sporting Community.
That's a home win, I'm saying.
Yeah, but they've had a couple of shock results, haven't they?
They have another. The best start Sandbach have not made, but at the same time, they still have some players of real quality, and I think they're just getting themselves together.
Okay, listen, Shawbury United versus Runcorn Town.
Away win.
Yeah, I'm going for them. A return to winning ways in the league, because I think they lost. Did they lose the last game? Yeah, they did, didn't they? Wolverhampton Casuals versus Camelaird. I'm going for Camelaird.
Draw for me.
Draw for AJ, and then just Tuesday nights fixtures next week. Ramsbottom versus Withenshaw. The really, really tight one there.
Home win for me.
Home win? Yeah, go on. I'll go for a home win as well. And Ashton Athletic versus Bacup. I think Bacup will win that one.
I'm saying Bacup as well. AA versus BB.
Yeah, right. Well, that rounds up the predictions and fixtures, or the fixtures rather, and the predictions for this coming weekend and early next week.
Yeah, moving on.
So, listen, moves us on to Skelmersdale United Football Club.
Wow.
I know. What an amazing weekend in more ways than one.
Absolutely stunning. Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar with me and my journey through Skelmersdale, and I don't know that many of you who aren't already, I've only been at the club now for about 15 months. I've seen Skelmersdale United win 2 games, and they were both by a single goal. I saw Skem win by 7 goals to 2 against FC King Harry at the weekend. What a wonderful game that was to see.
Unfortunately, at the end of the game, we heard rumours that King Harry would fold. We didn't know whether it was true, but it was made official on Monday. Mm-hmm. So it means that all points accrued against King Harry have now been annulled, confiscated. So it no longer exists. So it took a bit of the shine off the 7-2 win. I think it's probably the biggest win Skem United Football Club have had in several years. But it's a little bit of a, it could only happen to Skem.
Yeah, I think a few people have said that already, that unfortunately, we could have done with a little bit of luck there. But
we have to take the positives out of
We do have to take the positives, and I think there are a few of them, and I was explaining this to people as best as I could. Number one, the performance merited the result, but the performances will stay. And we'll carry on these performances into the friendly game at the weekend that we've got against Newborough, and then in the showdown game that we've got next Saturday, which I think is against
Sefton Athletic, is it?
Sefton Athletic, who we do expect a full challenge from them.
Yeah.
But the other aspect of it is that other teams who were maybe expecting a field day against King Harry for an extra 3 points won't get those either. So we're all missing out on a potential 6 points here. Yeah.
The most disappointing part of this game, where you got the impression that things weren't going quite right for FC Harry. They scored their number 8, I can't remember his name now, scored a spectacular goal, albeit Joe maybe a little bit further off his line than you'd have expected. Possibly.
Maybe, yeah.
Made the goal look a bit better than it should have been.
Well, it was still decent aim, and I don't think anybody was expecting him to actually shoot from there. But shoot he did, and score he did. And he then followed that up by shouting, "See you lads, I'm off," and running straight off the pitch.
So he jumped right over the fence.
Yes, he did.
And he headed for the changing rooms. The referee chased him. I've never seen the likes of it before. It added a little sort of bit of a comedy element to it, but at the end of the day, not really the kind of thing you'd like to see in football.
No.
Totally unprofessional.
We aren't professional anyway, but we'd at least want to act like it. Yeah. And after the 7th goal went in at our end, the entire bench for FC King Harry packed up their gear and walked off. They didn't wait to the final whistle. They didn't even have the courtesy to walk around the pitch. They just walked across the face of it while the game was still being played. And then their number 8 goes and does that. He was eventually called back onto the pitch by the referee, who showed him a yellow card and then promptly blew the whistle for full time.
Which begs the question, is there a rule in the referee's rule book that determines whether he should give him a yellow card or a red card? Not that it will make any difference now
that they've folded.
But I'd like to know whether there's a ruling on that one.
Ooh. Well, you need to ask a referee for that one.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have brandished a red card if it had been me.
I think that would have made an awful lot more trouble than it was worth, to be quite honest with you.
Did you hear it at half-time, though? Obviously, our players expect to go into the changing rooms. What we've noticed a lot in the Liverpool County Prem is that they stand on the pitch. So as our players are walking off, I heard one fella turn around and say, "Stay on the pitch, will you? We want to get this game over as soon as possible, you know that."
Wow.
That was incredible. But yeah, we still went off. Obviously, Nick did his team talk, and we re-emerged in the second half, made a few changes and managed to get a few more goals.
4, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, a very good day at the office for all really concerned with Skelmersdale United, regardless of the fact that result no longer holds anymore. We'll still take the performance from that, which is possibly the most important thing going into these next few fixtures. Now, they are crunch ties, if you like, because a lot of the games that we are going to be playing here are against very difficult opposition. So, as Frank has already alluded to, our next game, once we resume league fixtures, is against
Sefton
Athletic. Thank you.
Yeah.
I will remember that one, promise.
I'm just trying to see if the league table's knocking about. That don't makes a great deal of difference right now, but
yeah.
I did have the league.
Yeah,
pretty sure.
But then the major game, and I think possibly our most challenging game of this season, although I don't know the teams greatly, but this one for me is the challenging one, is Liverpool Nalgo, who finished second in the league last season and have already started to set the pace in this season. They're one of 3 teams who have got 2 wins from their opening 2 games, the other 2 being the Grenadier and Joey Oars. But they are the team who we play on September the 13th, 2 o'clock kickoff at Alder Lane Sports Facility. But that'll be a big test for us, won't it?
That most certainly will. Listen, the other results that of the games in the Premier Division, MSB Walton Reserves, after their 2-1 victory against FC King Harry, so they got beat by Waterloo Dock 4-2. So a bit of a double-edged disappointment for them, considering they'd managed to beat Joey Oars, who finished in 3rd place, did they last season? 5th or 3rd, one of the
No, it was 5th because King Harry finished 3rd, which was why it was all the more impressive a result. That's when we had done it. Yeah.
Now, many people believe Halewood Apollo are one of the favourites to win the division this season, but Sefton Athletic, who are our next opponents, managed to beat them 5-0 away from home.
Yeah, they certainly did. Yeah, it was a very good day at the office for Sefton Athletic. There, they are a team that I think we would probably look at with some concern. A real good outfit. I think finished 4th in the league last season. Yeah. Good day at the office.
You can't really say there's going to be any easy games. We don't know what we're heading towards, do we? But
we don't.
Listen, Liver Academy lost 2-1 to Grenadier, the Grenadier. River Football Club were beaten at home by Daysbrook 2-1. So that rounds up the results from Saturday, does it? No, Joey Oars beat East Villa Rail 2-1. Like you say, Nalgo managed to beat Granby Toxteth Athletic 2-0 away from home. So yeah, that rounds up the results and the fixtures for this weekend. Just taking a quick look at them. Obviously, there's no game for us, but Sefton Athletic at home to MSB Walton Reserves. River Football Club at home to Joey Oars. Halewood Apollo are at home to Liver Academy. Keep saying Liver. Granby Toxteth Athletic at home to Daysbrook. Some really good, interesting fixtures there. Now, we didn't mention on the last show because we didn't know, did we? But there was a little bit of a controversial twist towards the end of our... Or did we mention it? Did we mention what happened with Joey Oars? No, we didn't.
The referee?
The referee? No, it wasn't the referee, was it? It was about the language.
The
language barrier.
Yeah, go on.
Should we mention it?
We've already mentioned it once.
Yeah, but we've not mentioned the
follow-up.
The follow-up from it.
No, we haven't.
Because it was believed that the kind of language that they used was typical football language on a Saturday afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
You disagreed with her.
I did. So I was commentating the game against Joey Hawes.
So you were right by the action.
I was right by the action. And for those of you who followed the commentary, you'll know that Henry Singleton made a tackle that was disagreeable on one of the Joey Hawes players. And I think Henry will probably agree with that. Now, the referee gave him a yellow card. What then followed was at least two players shouting encouragement at the rest of the team to get stuck in, and I'm paraphrasing there, and verbatim the words used by one of them were, "Let's effing hit every single one of them." Now for me, context in football is everything, and to suggest that you're going to go out and hit every single one of them is a little bit more violent than just your average Saturday football words, to be quite honest with you. It does indicate a bit more of a aggressive, confrontational approach to football than just simply playing them off the park with skill and teamwork, and I didn't care for it at all. And so we mentioned this last week on the show.
Yeah. And because we're sort of very level-headed and intelligent people, it also has to be said that after that particular foul, things didn't progress. There was no violence shown on the pitch.
No, there wasn't. No, there were no.
A lot of commitment, but no violence.
No violence. A couple of overzealous tackles, but that was it. There was nothing further from either Skelmersdale or Joey Hawes.
I felt as though once they appreciated the fact that we were as physical as them, or we could, we were on a par with them, they started to put the ball down and play football. So from that perspective, it's just the terminology, the language that was used. It could have been interpreted. Well, the way you certainly interpreted it. It didn't turn out that way in the end. So listen, total respect to Joey Hawes for not entering into a boxing match.
No, they didn't. But we do very much look forward to the reverse fixture against them.
Yeah. But we don't do anything deliberately to be controversial, because if we did, I don't think we'd. Well, we certainly talk off mic.
We do talk off mic, and we are.
If we recorded everything that we talked about, then we'd be in some serious trouble, wouldn't we?
Yeah, but the other side of it is that we have our own opinions, and we've got to respect the fact that this may be interpreted differently by other people outside of this podcast stream. And whatever way you think of how we voice our opinions, please be assured that they are only done in the fairest way that we could possibly think of, and without any need to stir the ire or be aggressive or controversial in any way.
Yeah, just go slightly back to Scum United Football Club. Fitness levels seem to be absolutely spot on right at the moment. They're getting better each week.
Yeah, I think the intensity of how they started the game wasn't one that they could hold on to for the full 90 minutes. You did see players tiring a little bit.
It was hot.
It was hot, yeah. It was a warm day down at St John Bosco.
When he made the changes, it had a significant impact. Because, like you say, we were tiring because of the heat and the efforts that we put in. But
yeah, exactly.
Henry Singleton come on, Toby Taylor
was
and
great.
they were absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. So
you can understand why FC King Gary sort of give up in the end, can't you?
To a degree, yeah. I think we just happened to be better drilled than they were.
They weren't the fittest team we'd ever play either, were they?
No, they weren't. And in fact, we won't play them again. We just happened to be well drilled, and I think that probably speaks volumes to the organisation of the coaching team behind the scenes there, most particularly our strength and conditioning coach Josh.
He's doing a fabulous job.
Worked wonders since he's come in. So shout out to Josh there.
Yeah, and Barney, of course, who's doing a fantastic job, as is Simon Poe and Nick.
Yeah, the entire coaching team, fair play to them.
Yeah. So this Saturday, we're away to Newborough Sports at 1:30 to 1:30 kick-off.
Yeah.
So if you can get down there, there'll be a lot of mixed sort of trialists playing and what have you. But a relatively strong team, and there might be an appearance by a former legend of Scam as well, who featured for a couple of games last season. I don't know for certain, but I believe Kevin Ledbetter's been out jogging again. So you never know. He might pop.
Well, his son currently plays for us, doesn't he?
No, it's his. It's his nephew.
Pardon me, it's his nephew, who had a good turnout for us against King Harry. Won the penalty that started the carnage, and then scored the third goal. So if you can pick up some tips from Uncle Kev, it'd probably be interesting to see them in a 100-metre race. To be honest, because I hear Kev is not the slow coach.
No. Certainly not.
So there you go.
So that rounds that off. 1:30 kick-off on Saturday.
Newborough Sports
Listen, we're meeting up somewhere, as we normally do now before match. We either have brunch or breakfast, and it's going to be brunch, I think, this weekend.
Okay.
Or no, it might be late breakfast. Or it could be a brunch. Is a brunch a late breakfast? Does it count because it's got chips?
It sits somewhere between breakfast and lunch, so chips are usually a lunch, so I would say brunch, yeah. Yeah,
well, we're going to a little farm shop close by for 11 o'clock. Anybody wants to join us there, you're more than welcome. Look forward to seeing you on Saturday. The bar will be open, so hopefully we'll get a little bit of decent weather. I know the weather's turning a little bit, but if it's dry and a little bit sunny, we should have a great afternoon.
Yeah, maybe one last foray into this.
Yeah.
Into the good weather.
The only good news that we should be able to reveal within the next week or so is that we've managed to secure a front of shirt sponsor. We're not going to mention names yet. We've also managed to secure a sleeve sponsor, as well as retaining a sponsor from last season as well. So listen, thank you to everybody that's reached out to us in order to throw a few coffers into the bank account, which is very, very much needed. Yeah, we really appreciate that. And we will be also a tracksuit sponsor as well.
Tracksuit sponsor too.
Yeah, can't forget that. I think he's already mentioned on the advert. But listen, thank you very much to everybody that's supporting SCEM, whether it's through fundraising, whether it's through the lottery bonus ball scheme and the new weekly draw. Get online, have a look, see which way you can help. Listen, if you get involved with the weekly draw, you've got the chance of winning £1,000. So it's all it's a good cause and it's worthwhile doing.
Very much so.
Yep.
Very, very much so. Yeah, we are still open for sponsorship throughout the season, but on a much more affordable and smaller level. We are covering things like match day sponsorships, goal of the month, player of the month, goal of the season, player of the season, anything like this, which is currently in the market rate of the low hundreds. Please message in for more details. Please note that numbers are negotiable as well, so we will come to a deal with you if it means getting you on board.
And just to briefly mention, a really expensive part of running the football club was the VO that we did last season. The VO footage that we've done for the last few seasons. We're currently looking for a sponsor to sponsor that, because we've got a Skelmersdale United TV YouTube site, haven't we? So anybody that sponsors that will get great coverage on YouTube and of course on all socials as well. So if you're interested in that, make us an offer. We'd really appreciate it if you could. Now, listen, we're moving to the very final part of the show where we ask the question. I ask the question to you. What have you learned this week so far?
Perseverance pays off. We've had a really, really good week, both on the pitch and off the pitch, representing Skelmersdale United. The result was obviously stunning for us, even though it's not carrying through to the full season. We will still take that result, but off the pitch as well, as Frank says, we've managed to secure a couple more sponsorship deals, which has been through nothing but hard work, perseverance, and a belief that we will find a resource that values us as much as we value them. So perseverance pays off.
Yeah, and from my perspective, because of the perseverance, the very fact that patience plays a big part in that as well, and we've been extremely patient. Sometimes it's easy to go under, and there have been many moments during the close season where I felt like just walking away from all of it and handing it over to somebody else. That will never happen, but patience pays off, and that's what I've certainly learned this week.
There you go.
So there you go. Listen, we'll leave the very final thoughts to the once again the dulcet tones of AJ.
You've been listening to the Speaking Frankly Football Show with me, AJ Vergette, and my co-host, Mr. Frank Hughes. This podcast is available on streaming services wherever you get your podcast, including Spotify and Amazon Music. Please rate and review, as we do thrive on your feedback. Please also subscribe so that you can find out first when the newest episode of the Speaking Frankly Football Show has been released. We are also available on streaming on social media sites, most prevalently X and Facebook, under the banner term Speaking Frankly Football Show. And so from myself and Frank, we will see you next week for another episode of the show. Until then, bye-bye for now.